Good evening, I'm Prasad and this is KiniNews. I get it, being a minister means you're probably going to be very busy. You may not be able to attend all the events. And even if the program is as important as the nation's top cop being handed his duties, but I guess you can have a poster of yourself plastered on the background just so people don't forget that you're important, even if you're not there. Home Minister Hamzah Zanudin was nowhere to be seen as Outgoing Inspector-General of Police Abdul Hamid Bador handed over his duties to his successor Acryl Sani Abdullah Sani in Bukit Aman this morning. Hamzah's absence was rather obvious, especially with his face plastered on the backdrop of the event's stage. Instead, he was represented by his deputy, Ismail Muhammad Sahid, who explained that Hamzah could not attend the event because he had a national security meeting with the Prime Minister. This comes just days after Hamid Bador trained his guns on Hamzah in a press conference, saying the minister allegedly interfered in police matters. In his speech today, Hamid Bador said while he may look happy to retire, deep down he was worried about the future of the force.
Walaupun secara zahirnya saya kelihatan gembira dan merasa lega kerana dapat menikmati kembali quality time yang telah saya korbankan selama ini, namun jauh di sudut hati saya masih begitu gusar untuk meninggalkan pasukan keramat ini yang masih bergelut dengan konflik war of perception yang tidak berkesudahan dan terus-menerus dihukum by the court of public opinion.
Abdul Hamid also expressed confidence in his successor.
Apabila saya telah serahkan jawatan ini, saya memberikan segala sokongan, segala kepercayaan, keyakinan saya kepada Datuk Seri untuk mengemudi PJRM dan seterusnya. Dan saya yakin keterampilan beliau, pengalaman beliau dan kelulusan akademik beliau yang tinggi itu akan memberikan banyak manfaat kepada pasukan dan negara.
Acryl Sani, who was also present, said his new duty as IGP was a heavy responsibility. Over the weekend, my social media feeds were flooded with people sharing their AstraZeneca vaccine registrations. Perhaps this has given the national COVID-19 immunization program a much-needed boost. The government's decision to remove the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine from the national COVID-19 immunization program and make it available on a voluntary basis has been a boost to the program. Science, Technology and Innovation Minister Jamuluddin said this after referring to data on the matter. Speaking at the weekly joint press conference with Health Minister Dr. Adam Baba on the progress of the NIP, Kari said the voluntary program was created due to vaccine hesitancy over the British-manufactured vaccine. He said the government recorded 8,000 cancellations of the vaccination registrations in My Sujatra when the use of AstraZeneca in the NIP was announced. He explained that the number of cancellations were rising and this resulted in the Special Committee on COVID-19 vaccine supply deciding that the AstraZeneca vaccine should be removed from the mainstream NIP and placed in an opt-in program instead. Kari also noted that after the announcement of the AstraZeneca vaccine being made available to the public on a voluntary basis, 80% of those who cancelled their registration on My Sujatra had re-registered for the vaccination. There's a travel ban on passengers from India, but then how did 4 flights from India land here? But before we answer that, if you like our content, check the link in the description and become a contributor. Malaysia imposed a travel ban on flights from India on April 28th after the South Asian country recorded the world's highest daily COVID-19 cases at more than 300,000 a day. However, viral claims on social media alleged that flights from India were allowed to land despite an enforced travel ban. How could this happen? There is an explanation. According to Transport Minister Wee Ka Siong, the 4 Malaysian Airlines flights from India which landed in Malaysia were not carrying any passengers. Instead, he said they were carrying cargo and the crew members were not allowed to disembark. The MH-designated flights going viral on social media are all cargo-only flights. The flights involved were MH191 from New Delhi, MH193 from Bengaluru, MH195 from Mumbai and MH181 from Chennai. We explained that the conversion of passenger flights into cargo flights have become a common practice during the COVID-19 pandemic. We reiterated that non-Malaysians from India will not be allowed to enter Malaysia, even for transit. He said exemptions may be made for Malaysians or their non-Malaysian spouses trying to return home from India. However, he added that they must undergo a 14-day isolation period at a designated quarantine centre. DAP will soon get a new leader, but does Anthony Loke have what it takes to fill Guan Eng's shoes? He's certainly up for the challenge. Lim Guan Eng is set to relinquish the Secretary-General post he held in DAP for 17 years next month. So the question now is, who will fill the void in the party? Well, that will be up to the party delegates and DAP Central Executive Committee members at the CC election next month. Party Organising Secretary Anthony Loke is currently seen as a favourite choice to replace Guan Eng. It's also no secret that Loke has been groomed to take over the party leadership. But even for Loke, it's about following the proper process to get to the top.
I think what is important is that leaders must be trained in various capacity, go through the mills, go through the various phases of maturing. I think many of us in the same batch in the current CEC, I think most of us went through the same experience.
Loke added that if he was given the mandate or responsibility to lead the party, he would take up the challenge. Loke started off as a political education director and was later elected as a DAP youth chief. In 2004, he was made the Negeri Sembilan DAP chief and became a CEC member. In 2012, he was elected as the organising secretary, a post which required him to deal with party affairs from approving membership, liaising with branches and keeping in touch with grassroots members on a daily basis. DAP, which was initially slated to hold its Congress and polls on December 20th last year, postponed the event to this June due to COVID-19.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Ural. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Ural, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
A 10,000 ringgit reward is on the table as the family of A. Ganapati continue to seek answers and perhaps justice. An anonymous contributor has offered a 10,000 ringgit reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of those allegedly responsible for the death of A. Ganapati. According to the family lawyer K. Ganesh, the contributor was allegedly once a victim of police brutality too. He said since the perpetrators of the crime have not been arrested, he was asked to offer the cash reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of those allegedly responsible, whether directly or indirectly, for Ganapati's death. On February 24th, 40-year-old Ganapati was arrested to facilitate an investigation into a sibling who was wanted by the police. He was released on March 8th, but was admitted to the Slying Hospital's intensive care unit. He reportedly told his mother that the police had beat him with a rubber hose. While at the hospital, Ganapati was confirmed to have kidney problems and his leg had to be amputated. Ganapati died at the hospital on April 18th. An autopsy revealed that the death was due to injuries to his legs and shoulders, according to the family lawyer. However, Gombak District Police Chief Arifai Taware said there was no evidence that the deceased was assaulted while under custody. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. But before we go, if you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.